Cross and Humphries met last week was a terrific encounter. That was the one where Humphries was hitting 12 darters for fun.
Yeah, really interestingly, actually, after winning his second night of the campaign, I spoke to Luke Humphries and he said, yeah, I don't think I'm playing anywhere near as good as I was during the Premier League campaign 12 months ago. And yes, his average was slightly higher, but I thought last week his timing was absolutely exceptional. In particular, against Rob Cross, of course. It was highlighted there because there was that spell that you've mentioned of 12 darters. Rob Cross chipped in with one of his own in those last 4 legs, but for Luke Humphries, there was a 1-2-1, a 1-6-7 and the 1-16 checkout, all to complete 12 darters. And I just think that's something at the moment that is so mightily impressive and enjoyable about Luke Humphries' game, is that when he finds himself behind, I love watching him problem solve. I think it's so intriguing to watch. We saw it, of course, when he played Dimitri Vandenberg in the UK Open final 12 months ago. No, he didn't go on to win that game, but I thought the way that he managed to haul himself back into the contest, that's something to that degree that you see very few players able to do, and he is certainly one of them.
Must apologise at this point for any dropouts in sound that you get during the course of our coverage. There's a lot of gremlins in the machine tonight in Brighton. I think all broadcasters are suffering at the moment, trying to get sound and pictures, but we're bringing you the very best coverage that we can as a consequence of that. So with that win, Luke Littler has moved himself onto 10 points, 5 behind Luke Humphries. Michael van Gerwen up to 3rd. Gerwyn Price down in 4th. So Rob Cross, if he gets the win here, will not be able to get himself into the top 4 just yet. He's basically going to have to win the night, or at least get a big leg difference to try and get above Gerwyn Price. And Rob Cross, well, he seems to have played himself through a slightly indifferent run of form in recent times, Rob Cross. And I'm guessing that, I heard him speaking to Hawksby and Jacobs yesterday, just seems to be in a much happier frame of mind. Not long moved to Lincolnshire, practising with Scott Williams. He's not a Sussex boy anymore, left Hastings behind, but there seems to be a slightly more zen attitude from Rob Cross these days.
Yeah, he's made alterations as well to the way that he prepares for nights now. He doesn't turn up at venues. Look, a couple of years ago, everyone used to make a joke about it. If Rob Cross was playing, especially first, be there at midday to open the doors for him, because he used to love getting in early to familiarise himself, to practice. Now he turns up a couple to 3 hours before play starts, and he finds that he's got more energy now to last him the session. We've not seen that yet because he's just got a couple of quarter-final wins to his name. I just think the inconsistency right now, that's where there's a question mark, because when you look at when he played in the final of the Grand Slam the year before last, and that spell of form, that was just scintillating to watch from Rob Cross. We're not quite seeing that level yet, and he was doing that consistently. He was going into tournaments and you'd say, right, Rob Cross is going to be there or thereabouts. At the moment, you're not really talking about him as much when it comes to the latter stages of tournaments, and I think that is just because he's lacking that consistency. He does have a running average over the course of the weeks that we've seen so far of 96, 36% checkout success, but that finishing is hindered somewhat by the 13% checkout success that he had against Nathan Aspinall, of course, in Dublin. Did go some way to rectifying that last week, but yeah, there is still a lot of question marks.
Well, he's had a good start to the year on the floor. Won Players' Championship 1, won a World Series of Darts event against Bunty. So there are good positive signs to Rob Cross's play, but he's up against a guy in Luke Humphries who I sense, after his semi-final defeat in the UK Open to James Wade, is going to be the player out of the 8 here tonight with the most antagonised point of view going into it, because I think that defeat to James Wade really riled him up.
Yeah, and look, Rob Cross is one of very few players with a positive head-to-head record against Luke Humphries as well. I know he lost to him 7 days ago, but he's won 3 of their last 4, played 23 times, he's won 13 of them. But I agree with you. I think Humphries is going to come here this week, and I would not be at all surprised to see him going back-to-back. I think the way he controls those feelings, we saw it, didn't we, when he was left out of the Premier League 2 years ago. When Luke Humphries is frustrated by something, when something irks him, he responds in the perfect way. He was left out of the Premier League. He responds by going, I'm going to make sure I can't be left out next year. He loses a game. I know it's a different circumstance, but he loses a game like the one to James Wade. And I just expect him to go, yep, I'm going to respond in the ideal way tonight. I think he's a fantastic player, but more importantly, he is a sensational ambassador for our sport as well.
And his win ratio this year, Luke Humphries, is up to 80% victorious in his matches, and he was 72% last year. He's the world number one. He doesn't get talked about enough. I would actually agree with James Wade that Luke Humphries gets overlooked a little. I guess Luke doesn't really mind that. He doesn't mind that a player like Luke Littler takes a lot of the heat away from him, because he's not a particularly demonstrative darts player anyway, Luke Humphries. He just wants to get the job done.
I think it's interesting as well, though, that because of the issues that you mentioned in Brighton at the moment, we've got a little bit of a delay between the second quarter-final and the third. So Rob Cross and Luke Humphries, obviously not sure how far in advance they got told about that, but they will have been watching quarter-final number 2 between Luke Littler and Chris Dobey, which went all the way anyway, thinking, right, we're going to be on soon. We'll go through our final preparations. And now there's about, a 10-minute delay in between the quarter-finals. So it does hinder preparation somewhat. I know some players, let's just say, take that a little bit better. They're two of the players who you expect will just get on with things and just go back to the room and carry on with their preparations. But yeah, it does knock you out of your stride slightly.
Cross did lose that semi-final to Humphries last week in Exeter, but his recent form against Cool Hand's pretty good. He's won 5 out of the last 7 between himself and Luke Humphries. It's good, impressive stuff from Cross. He's improved his win ratio for the year from last year. I mentioned he's in a slightly better frame of mind. But Luke Humphries, being the world number one, edging towards 2 million in prize earnings, he's just stretching clear, and he's desperate to retain the world match play. I'm sure he doesn't want anybody else getting hold of that title. And Littler is trying to close him down in second, but in reality he's nowhere near. He's £500,000 behind him.
Well, and one of the good things with Luke Humphries, you see it when players win big majors. We saw it when Michael Smith won the Grand Slam and then went on to win the World Championship. We saw it, and we're about to see the impact of it, when Nathan Aspinall, of course, picked up the match play title. 2 years come round, and then it's all eyes on the PDC Order of Merit and how far down the rankings those players are then going to drop. We've already seen it happen to Michael Smith, of course, who has dropped right down the rankings. He's now trying to work his way back up. He's down at 17 at the moment.
Had a slightly better UK Open, though, didn't he, Michael Smith?
There was plenty to like about Michael Smith's UK Open campaign, and I think that'll give him so much confidence. Just winning on TV for the first time since November. It was really hugely significant in the season of Bully Boy. But now, finally, we are about to see our third quarter final get underway. It is Voltage who's first to be introduced to the Brighton crowd.
Yeah, John McDonald going through the rigmarole of getting the players onto the stage. Still a few issues that we've got with regard to our sound that we're trying to bring you. Apologies for that. Things are being worked on by the boffins to get things back under control. But we'll keep you in touch. That's what our watch-alongs on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel and our talkSPORT 2 coverage is all about for the Premier League of Darts, making sure you miss none of what's going on the stages. We're on week 5, and Rob Cross, who his best ever performance was reaching the final of the Premier League in 2019, never managed to get over the line, so he's not added this title to that extraordinary start to his career, where the former electrician piled his way into our consciousness. The first year we ever brought you darts on the radio, he triumphed at Ali Pali to win the World Championship in 2018. And Voltage comes from Hastings, so not too far from Brighton, although, as we mentioned earlier, he now lives up in Lincolnshire.
The world number one, the reigning World Match Play champion, the reigning World Cup champion, and the newly crowned Whitmore World Masters champion. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former champion of the world, cool hand, Luke Humphries.
A 7-point lead that Luke Humphries has at the start of the night over Luke Littler. 2 weekly wins, including Exeter last week. He'll be very keen to extend his lead still further, and you wouldn't put it past him with the motivation that he may well have from his defeat to Wade in the UK Open. But he looks, as usual, completely calm and confident as he strides onto the stage and the pyrotechnics go off.
Yeah, I predict a riot. And of course, it's not just Luke Humphries who's down on the south coast this week. His beloved Leeds United travel to Fratton Park on Sunday, and I believe full comms is available on talkSPORT 2 for that one as well.
That's a lunchtime kickoff on Sunday. Flo Pollock will be your commentator at Fratton Park. But of course, Luke can't stay on the south coast to watch. He's got to head off to Belgium for the first Euro Tour event, which kicks off tomorrow. So the 8 players here will travel over tomorrow, and they will take part from Saturday onwards. And I think Coolhand will play the winner of Ryan Searle and Pilgrim, I think, is the first round match. And of course, he dispatched Ryan Searle by 10 legs to 0 in the UK Open. His great pal got absolutely bageled good and proper at Minehead.
Yeah, who needs enemies? I wasn't going to bring that up to you, Dan, knowing how much of a heavy metal fan you are.
Searle fanboy, but you know, he's won his traditional early Players' Championship tournament for the year, Ryan Searle, so I'm not too downhearted that he got bageled by his pal Luke Humphries. So the pre-match practice throws are being gone through by our 2 protagonists, 2 former world champions. Luke, who was the world champion 2 years ago, beat Littrell in that final, but didn't make it to the most recent final. Beat Cross in the semi-final last week. Their previous meeting to that was June last year in the World Series of Darts Event 4, where Cross actually won by 7 legs to 4. As I mentioned, he's got decent recent form against Coolhand, winning 5 of the last 7 meetings in all competitions. So we will see how he gets on against Coolhand in this very noisy Brighton Centre. 5,000 darts fans in attendance. Nice shake of the hand, and Luke has the honour and will get us underway with his very straight-on style. Very much a chest-on darts thrower, not side-on like so many. Really faces front at the board and gets a steady ton to get underway.
Yeah, you mentioned their head-to-head record there. I let Rob Cross know that prior to their meeting 7 days ago. He had absolutely no idea, but it is thanks to visits like that. Kicks us off with a 180.
Lovely start, and we've ticked past 200 180s for the Premier League tournament so far with that Cross has just deposited into the board. Can he follow it up with further treble 20s? No, he can't.
60.
So often happens. Treble 20 turns into a trebleless visit. So Humphries with those familiar spring onion style barrels on his darts and those flights that he's running out of and can't get any more of, it seems.
Yeah, down to 1-2-1 after 9. Coolhand. More than steady start to this contest. Ton 140, 140. Decides to start on the bull. Now it's treble 20, the second port of call for Humphries. Leaves himself.
He's on 76. Cross can't take out 165. That's a bogey number.
93.
As George Noble, you can hear calling out the scores. Luke Humphries wants 76 for the first leg and pins double 8. And Coolhand is off and running, holding throw in leg 1 on a race to 6.
Yeah, comfortable enough start there for Coolhand to this contest, who is just looking to pull further and further away at the top of the league. Said he doesn't want to get carried away at all, but if he keeps producing darts like this, he'll have every reason to.
Very, very good start. Well, Cross started his first leg against the throw with a maximum. That's exactly what Luke's just done. But here comes Cross, popping in a maximum of his own. But Luke's on a 9 darter, 4 perfect darts, 5. Can it be 6? Yep. 9 darters on in Brighton for Coolhand.
He's just showing control of every single aspect of his game at the moment, Luke Humphries. Floating those darts into the treble 20 segment. 141 points away, gets the treble 20, gets the treble 19. Double 12 is hit from Luke Humphries. Perfection on the south coast. He was victorious in Brighton 12 months ago, and he has just achieved perfection.
Limbs everywhere, beer going everywhere. All around the Brighton Centre, 5,000 darts fans have got what they came to see. A 9 dart leg. And now Luke Humphries says to himself, all right, calm down. You've won the leg, you're 2-0 up. But that was so beautifully done from Luke Humphries. And of course that throwing style he's got, it's muscle memory, doesn't hang about.
You fancied it from the second 180. The way those darts entered the board, you just fancied him for it. Absolutely stunning from Luke Humphries.
Well, I did wonder as he entered the stage whether he would want to get things back on track after the disappointment of losing at the UK Open to James Wade. I think we've just seen from those last 9 darts that he threw exactly how focused and how remotivated he is. And the world number 1 back in the red bit in leg 3 with the darts.
Well, the good news for Luke Humphries is that he's managed to regain his composure more than the Cones have in row F, because they are really struggling at the moment.
Well, Cross has now got to try and concentrate himself. He's a breakdown already. There's only a point between them after 6 darts apiece. 264 plays 265, but another 140 popped in by Humphries. Two in a row.
It's just so solid, isn't it? You think with all that adrenaline, having just achieved perfection, to come back down as quickly as he has, to leave himself on 124. Nice visit from Cross to set up 94, but is he going to get a look?
He is, because treble 18 for Bull won't go for Humphries. So 94, a 2 dart clutch finish potentially for Rob Cross. Treble 18, 4 tops is the shot. He's hit treble 18, takes his traditional step back and wipes his hand on his trouser leg and pin stops. That is a great clutch finish to break back for Rob Cross for 2-1 in favour of Humphries on talkSPORT 2.
An 11 dart break back from Rob Cross. That is class from Rob Cross. Just had a 9 darter hit against you, but that 171 dance to set up the 94. This is absolutely incredible at the moment.
Yeah, the Cross averaging 123 at the moment. Humphries not too shabby himself on 119 average.
But the pace of this game, it's just got such a nice rhythm to it at the moment, hasn't it? It's suiting both of them, and the numbers, the performances are reflecting that. Rob Cross starting this leg with back-to-back ton 40 visits.
Trying to get himself level. Down to 221 is Cross after 6. Humphries back on 330 after 6. So Cross should be able to get himself down to a finish, and will, with 140 again scored. So a chance for an 11 darter for Cross to bring us level at 2 legs apiece in a race to 6.
Well, we've not seen a dart missed at double yet in this match. Humphries 2 from 2, Cross 1 from 1. Treble 19, the first port to call. Just checking what Humphries is on. He's not on a finish. 286.
Still went for treble 10 for double 16. 49. And he will be back for 32 in a moment, because Humphries is way back. And 286 less these. And he's still not down to a finish, Abby.
He's not. Rob Cross has time aplenty on his side to level this match up, and that's exactly what he does. Well, the first two matches we saw an abundance of missed darts at the outer ring. This is more like it.
Yeah, perfection so far in terms of doubling from both Humphries and Cross. So we're at 2 legs apiece. Back on throw on talkSPORT 2, Premier League Week 5, and if you're just tuning in, you've missed a 9-dart leg from the world number 1, Luke Humphries, pinning treble 20, treble 19, double 12 for that 144 out shot to send the Brighton locals potty.
Yeah, Rob Cross, not too shabby from him either at the moment. He's averaging in excess of 118 in this contest. Really is incredible the way he's responded to that 9-darter, winning legs in 11 and 13 voltage. We've questioned his consistency in recent times, but if he could maintain this dance over the course of the night, I think he'd be a shoe-in to get his first nightly win.
I think you could well be right. The winner of this will face the winner of Nathan Aspinall and Stephen Bunting, who are the 4th quarter-final tonight. Humphries wants ball for a 170. Oh, it's underpitched and actually lands in small 3, just outside the outer ring. So Cross trying to take out 208, get down to a finish. He's hit treble 18. And he ends up getting down to a finish of 80, but Humphries wants double 8. Oh, it's well inside. Chance, Abby, for a breaker throw here for Rob Cross.
First misses at the outer ring. Humphries looking quite displeased about it. So Rob Cross 2 at double 10 to take care of this 80 and punish Humphries' errors on the outer ring. Got 2 darts from here. Just steadies himself. That customary wipe on the leg. Comes inside. And then he misses outside with his neck. So Rob Cross left on double 5. If Luke Humphries can't take care of double 4, he comes inside, but he gets the job done, Luke Humphries, on double 2 in the end. Made a bit of a mess of it. Rob Cross unable to punish. It does stay with throw. It is a 17-darter. We did see in his quarter-final 7 days ago, didn't we? Getting over the line. It was a 23-dart leg.
Oh, yeah, that was a bit of a slog.
It was, but he got the job done, Luke Humphries.
He's had a bit of a scare there, Humphries, and I think Cross will be annoyed with himself that he's not taken that first opportunity of the night to break, because up until now, it's been perfection on the outer ring, but not so in leg 5. So it's 3-2 to Luke Humphries. He's halfway to another semi-final. Remember, 2 nightly wins, 15 points already for Cool Hand. Well clear of the rest of the field, showing them a clean pair of heels at the moment. And he's 406 to 310 to 305. So Cross 5 points ahead in this 6th leg on throw. You're listening to talkSPORT 2 at the Premier League Darts Week 5. Already we've seen Michael van Gerwen and Luke Littler through in their respective quarterfinals. They will meet in the first semi-final a little later. Max from Humphries to get himself down to a finish of 130 to try and break the throw here. Cross back on 266. Less these.
Yeah, Luke Humphries. That is 5th maximum in the PDC. Stays straight with the first dart on 130, but can't find a treble with dart number 2, so gets it down to 70. Rob Cross looking to reel in the big fish now to level us up at 3 apiece.
Well, you sense he needs it. He can't do it, just a small 20. Gets down on the treble 19s and hits 4 19s in the end, but Humphries now wants 70 to go 4-2 up. 18 and 20 hit. And he only hits single 16. He's just inside. Chance again for Cross here.
Well, he let Luke Humphries off in the last leg, Rob Cross. Can he take care of this 74? Just takes another step back out of his rhythm and he comes inside. So he leaves himself on a tricky double 9. But it's Luke Humphries now, misses outside, looking at double 8, but he pins it with the second dart.
And he's 4-2 up. And our colleague Paul Nicholson has given me a lovely little bit of statistical information on that 9-darter from Luke Humphries. That's his 5th 9-darter in PDC action. The last one he hit was against Cross in Kiel on May the 10th last year, and he lost that game to Cross by 8 legs to 6 in the end. This is only a race 2-6 at the moment. Again, apologies for some of the dropout in sound that we're getting this evening. Hope it's not spoiling your enjoyment of our coverage of night 5 of the Premier League. Luke Humphries 4-2 up on Rob Cross, but there's a maximum from Cross, who looks a little irritated at the moment that he's falling behind. Oh, and Humphries, he could have popped another 10 darts in that bed where he had a 180 just there.
Well, you mentioned Luke Humphries lost that match where he hit a 9. The way Rob Cross responded to the 9 in this one, he might have been starting to think it could have been the same fate, and Voltage will not give up on this one. Going toe-to-toe with Luke Humphries, who went double-double at the end of a 98 combo, but came inside on the double 19. So Rob Cross now looking at 87 himself, gets the treble 17, so it's double 18 the target again. It's not been his best friend this evening, but he does manage to pin it. It's still he who shakes his head though, because it's 4-3 Humphries, and Voltage will be more than aware that that scoreline could be reversed.
Well, he knows it should have been 3-2. That's why he knows he should have been 3-2 up and had a break. But now we're back on throw, but a trebleless visit for Cross to start leg 8. 4-3 to Humphries, and that trebleless visit opens the door for Luke to get half a dart ahead, but he pops in a trebleless visit of his own of just 60, so no real damage done for Cross early on in this 8th leg. And he's back in the red bit. Not once, but twice, maybe thrice. You betcha. Mentioned before the start of the night that Littler had hit 20 180s in Exeter last week, which is more than 4 players combined in this tournament, including Cross. Ludicrous statistics from Littler, who'll play MBG a little later in the first semi-final.
And if that's anything like their meeting on night 1, you do not want to miss it. It was spellbinding from start to finish. But you don't really want to take your eyes off this one at the moment either, because Voltage's work is not done. You feel like he's still got a chance in this one.
His average is 8 points ahead of Humphries at the moment, averaging 109 to Humphries 101. He's trying to come down from 208 to get down to a finish, is Cross. And he is down to a 3-dart finish. He's down to 116 when he comes back, because Humphries is way back on 295. He's lost his mojo a little bit, Cool Hand.
A huge treble 18 there from Rob Cross to leave himself the 116. We mentioned Humphries' timing 7 days ago, but this will be perfect timing from Voltage. A 116 checkout. He levels up proceedings in this one.
4-4. Humphries starts leg 9 with 2 trebles and a treble 5. Now Cross trying to respond. Oh, that's great. There's room for another one in there. Oh, it drops just under pitched. 140 will have to do, but he's slightly ahead.
The quality from Cross in this one, though, was 2-0 down, 4-2 down. His winning legs, there have been 2 11-darters, a 13, and then a 15 with a 116 checkout. It has been excellent stuff.
Oh, Cross is back in the red bit again, and there's another 180 for Voltage to get himself on the fringe of a finish, to try and break the throw at the most important time in the match, at 4 legs each in a race to 6.
But this is where Humphries is so good, because you start thinking, I think Cross might have him here. I think Cross has got control. And then Humphries somehow is still there, even when you feel he's having a bit of an off spell in a match. He is still there. Yes, it's an outside chance at a 145, and it's not going to go. So Cross to break the throw of Humphries again. 85 points separate him from doing so.
They're both on 85, but Cross gets first dibs. Treble 15 for tops is the outshot. I actually went treble 19 and hit single 19. So 66 now. Bullseye required. Hits a single 16. Bullseye for cross, and he's just to the south and west of it. Humphries gets to go at 85 now.
Humphries was not expecting to return for this opportunity, but he gets treble 20 for double 5. And that is not far away. He even mouths.
He thought that was in.
Yeah.
He thought that was in, but it was just under the wire. So 9 for double 8 for Rob Cross to take the lead and break the throw. 2 darts at double 8. Only needs 1. Leads 5-4 Rob Cross. And now he's got the darts in leg 10. Can he knock out the Premier League leader?
Well, at the moment, he's on course to do so with his highest ever Premier League average, Rob Cross. His previous highest, 109.69. He's just dipped below that with that first visit. But he's still in the ballpark. That's how good this is from Voltage.
And Humphries' grouping has gone a little bit. 45 there from Coolhand. And for the first time tonight, Luke Humphries looks a little flustered. Cross, straight back in the treble 20. The second dart's under pitch. And he goes down to treble 19 and picks those off. 2-6-4 Cross.
Voltage doesn't look at all flustered. He's the one in complete control of everything now. Remarkably, Rob Cross hasn't won a Premier League night in this format. It is, of course, only his second year playing in it, but can he put that right this evening? If he keeps filling up the treble 20 bed like this, he has a very good chance.
He's got a chance for an 11 darter. He's on 84. Humphries back in a different postcode. So the boy from Hastings could well edge out the world number 1 here. 84 required for Rob Cross. Hits the treble 16, double 18 for a brilliant 6-4 win. Gets it! That is superb play from Rob Cross, and Luke Humphries will not add to his 15-point haul in the Premier League as Rob Cross sees him off in the quarter-final with some sensational leg play, some 12 darters in there, ton-plus finishes, clutch finishes with 2 darts. That had the lot from Rob Cross. Abigail Davies.
Well, Luke Humphries, 1 leg 2 with a 9 darter, his 5th in the PDC, but from there on, Rob Cross was absolutely spellbinding. There were 11 darters in there. There was a 116 checkout, and he has ended it with his highest ever Premier League average, in excess of 111. That was mesmerising from Voltage. One of the best performances in the Premier League you are likely to see. Defies that 9 darter from Coolhand. Well, that was absolutely spectacular. And coming up next, we have one more quarter-final. Will Rob Cross be taking on Nathan Aspinall or the bullet Stephen Bunting?
We will find out shortly. Rob Cross was only chatting with Hawksby and Jacobs yesterday on talkSPORT from his hotel room ahead of this, and he felt confident, he sounded confident, and that confidence has really leapt onto that stage at the Brighton Centre, because Voltage is through. You are listening to Premier League Darts live on talkSPORT 2 in partnership with Village Hotels. Pack more into a breakaway at Village. Visit villagehotels.com. Bunting against Aspinall is up next. Well, when it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. So amongst the fastest VPN